Yeah, it's your boy Fist in his house. Bring another great edition of Call of Duty from you, because that's what I do. And man, this is the first chance I've had a chance, double negative, to do a Call of Duty video. I've been very busy, man. The World Series, the Tigers going to the World Series. They sweep the Yankees. I went to the playoff games. It was awesome. Hopefully I get to go to the World Series. You know, and I've been looking at, some Call of Duty videos, keeping my ear to the ground, Black Ops 2, all this stuff. And, I check out a couple of videos here and there. People talk to me on Twitter. And a long time ago, I used to help a lot of people. I used to help a lot of people because, I thought that was the thing to do. YouTube community comes together, helps people, so on and so forth. And one of the first people that I've helped was Redneck. I mean, not one of the first people, but I think one of the last people I've tried to help was Redneck. He came along, he was like, yo, I think I was one of the only people that, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I opened up to him. We did G Unity together, and then that was a public channel to help Call of Duty players grow and whatnot. He's a really cool dude. I'll leave a link to the video that I'm going to discuss today. I mean, he made some comments about Black Ops 2. I agree with some of them, and I disagree with some of those other comments. And I wanted to make this not only clear to the rest of the community, but probably shed some light on how I feel about, David Von der Haar and Black Ops 2 and the Call of Duty community and the direction they're going in, as to how I feel about it, and to rebut the argument of Redneck's video. And lastly, if I have time to cover it, I want to talk about some leeches, that are jumping on the Call of Duty bandwagon, and they're total frauds, and I'm going to mention by name at the end of this video, and we're going to talk about that too. So, in Redneck's video, the things that he talked about was, he was talking about, how Call of Duty has taken a bunch of information from little tweeny boppers, and, the game was totally terrible, and so on and so forth. And for once, they're taking stuff from professional players, and that, people should just stop crying about it. And I don't know, I don't want to use those exact words, but they should just shut up about it. I think that's what his exact words were. And, they should give that a chance, and David Von der Haar is trying. I agree with the fact that, Redneck said that, teeny boppers did, contribute a lot of things, and they took a lot of information from that. And the reason being is because, there's probably a double negative factor going on there. You had Vince Zampella and West, or Vince or Wes Zampella, whatever, the two creators of Call of Duty 4. At the time when Modern Warfare 2 was being created, there was some turmoil going on as to whether, they were looking to go to EA for more money, and that, that's arbitration, or they were just, looking for a better deal and they got caught, or they actually got fired by Activision because Treyarch could do it cheaper. Nobody really knows, but the bottom line is they settled out of court and they got paid. So I'm assuming that Activision decided that Treyarch would do it cheaper, and that's my assumption. They didn't want to give up what they talked about as a legal binding contract. They were due a lot more money, and eventually they paid out of settlement court costs. And I think that contributed to a lot of things being into the game that probably shouldn't have been in the game, and it changed the tangent of the game down the road. For example, when CallOfDuty.com came out, we had a bunch of people that were trolling that forums, and they were like saying, oh, why don't you bring in nukes, why don't you bring in this, why don't you bring in dinosaurs, blah blah blah. They added so much ridiculous stuff to the game, and I think what happened was that they were like, let's give back to the community what they're asking for without really testing it. And I think that was Activision's fault for not really testing the game. But then when Redneck goes on to say that, he says, what would you rather do? Would you rather play somebody that is ninja ghost hiding in the corner, or would you rather do pro player stuff? And to me, it's kind of like a catch-22 when you add something in there, because this is what it is. Everybody has had their opinions on both of the high spectrums, or they had their input put into the game on both high ends of the spectrum. You had the low end spectrum where you had a bunch of kids asking for ridiculous stuff, and then you have, which accounts for a very obscure type of people who play the game, and then you have the pro players, where David Vonderhaar is, taking the advice of, Hastro and maybe a couple other players out of 10 million people who buy the game. At best, the most that they have is 160 pro teams at best. So you're taking the input on the one extreme as well. And I've asked for tons of stuff that you actually see in this game. I think they're missing the whole boat on both ends of it. And I was there at XP when Von was there. I mean, the reason there were so many people there for $1 million tournament is, one, there's $1 million that's in the tournament, which you're never going to see from Activision again. Two, the only reason there was that many people there is because it was the release party and it was the first of its kind for Call of Duty. That's why that many people showed up. You had Kanye West, you had everybody there. So I think he got caught up in the hype of everything, or going to these events. There really isn't that many people that can travel, that can do this. The point that I'm trying to make here is it is a very small group of people that they are catering this game to, and it was an obscure group on the other end that they catered to when they made Modern Warfare 2. They went both ends of the spectrum, and they totally missing what the majority wants. Like this, I can go on and on and on about the things that I've asked over the years to be fixed, like dedicated servers, clan servers, 9v9 team deathmatch, 9v9 domination. When you kill somebody, the skull doesn't sit there obscuring your view of the players. Ground shaking, stealth bomber shaking the ground, EMP. Why is it that the EMP and it goes off? I don't have nothing electric on me. Why am I flashed with this big light? And there's so many obscurities. All we're asking for, that it seems like, I guess it's a big deal because we're YouTubers, is we're just asking for shit that makes sense to be in the game. I mean, in Redneck's video, he just said it himself. He says, wouldn't you rather not play a game with Ghost and somebody sitting in the corner? Why is Ghost in the game? Why are these things that are, why are you having pro tournaments where they take out awareness and all these other things to play a pro game, but they're in the regular game? You see what I'm saying? All that I am saying, and the majority of us are asking it, in the middle, the people who mostly purchase the game are asking for sensible things to be fixed in the game. The kill cams are too long. There's just so many things. Awareness, sitrep pro, ground shaking. I mean, these things, all these things were not in Call of Duty 4. All you had to do is improve on the graphics and make the game much better. And then these streaks that are carrying over and over and over again, I don't know what else to say. We're looking for sensible things. I think we're asking for reasonable things, and we never ever get them. And I think that's where, myself and Redneck, I disagree with. Even though subliminally he says, wouldn't you rather play a game without the ghost and the guys can't record? That's basically asking for common sense shit in the game. That's what I want. I mean, does it have to be to where we get past the point of, okay, this pro thing, it didn't work out so good, so finally we're gonna make a no nonsense Call of Duty game? Is that, I mean, can I please turn off Dolphin Dive? Is that too much hard? Is that too much to ask for? I can't even get that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want a Dolphin Dive. Can I turn it off? I can't turn it off. So I think that's the difference. I mean, you have the obscure children who ask for dumb shit, and then you have this huge majority who patronize Call of Duty in the middle, who've been asking for the simplest shit in the game, and it's been 9 generations, and we still haven't got it. And then all of a sudden we jump from obscurity to irrelevant. You know, 160 pro teams that, like, I mean, who's gonna jump on that bandwagon? I mean, it's Call of Duty already established. You know how long that's gonna take to grow something like that? You know, it's young adults who have the money and time to travel with sponsorship and prize money. Don't have those things. It's not going to happen. League of Legends, example. You can't copy that. You have to make a social type gaming atmosphere. And my last point, you know, I don't want to give this guy too much shine. Porn Star for Hire is the biggest fraud on YouTube. This guy sits here and says, oh, I'm gonna stop playing Call of Duty, jumps on the Battlefield 3 bandwagon, and then when this Call of Duty competitive, which he's never even mentioned ever, and is like,
oh man, I'm gonna jump on it, it's gonna be cool, and we'll see what we can do.
Dude, you don't even have the patience to play the game. The only reason why this guy stopped playing Call of Duty because he got mashed on. He's the biggest fraud on YouTube, the biggest bootlicker. Anybody who's hype or getting views, he jumps on them and starts licking their boots for views. He's a fraud. Porn stars are fraud. Anyways, that's your boy Fist. Peace. I'm out.